Hello everyone! So in this video, I will be teaching you how to crochet this net bag. This is just a very simple design which is also perfect for beginners and it can be customizable according to your liking. So let's now go and start crocheting.
The materials that you will need are listed in the description box.
First step is making a slip knot. So if ever you don't know how to make a slip knot yet, here's a quick tutorial on how to do it. So you need to place your fingers like so, and on one side it should look like an X sign and on the other side it should look like an equal sign. There you'll be inserting your hook and then you need to go and grab that part to make your knot. You can notice that we have two strings here. One string is shorter and the other string is longer, which is connected to the rest of your yarn. So to tighten your knot, you need to pull this longer string of yarn. After making a slip knot, go ahead and chain any even number of chains depending on your preferred bag size. But do take note that the width of your bag would be half of the measurement of all your chains, meaning the measurement of the chains that you will be chaining at the beginning would not be the final width of your bag. For this one, I chained a total of 40, which is equivalent to 20 inches, so the width of this bag would be probably around 10 inches. Next step is to fold your chains into half. And make sure that your chains are not twisted. After that, you will need to find your first chain and insert your hook there, and you need to make a slip stitch. After doing that, you should end up having like a loop of chains. After making your slip stitch, chain 2. Now for this row, make sure that you are working going to the left of your chains and not to the right. And here we will be doing double crochets on every chain starting on the chain next to your chain 2. To make sure that you are not skipping a chain, count your stitches and make sure that it will end up being equal to the number of chains that we did earlier. So just continue doing that until you reach your last chain. So once you have made your last double crochet on the last chain, slip stitch once again to the chain 2 space that we did earlier. And now you are done with row 1. To start our next row, we need to chain 2 again. And then, place a double crochet on the first stitch next to your chain 2. After that, chain 1 and you need to skip the next stitch and then place another double crochet on the next one. So the pattern for this row would be just like that. You need to place a double crochet and then chain 1, skip the next stitch and then place another double crochet on the stitch next to the stitch that you have skipped. So just continue following this stitch pattern until you reach the end of the row. So you will know that you have reached the end of the row once you have only 3 chains left. There should be 3 chains because that chain over there where I placed my stitch marker is actually the slip stitch that we did earlier. So we will not be doing any stitches for that chain. And then the rest 2 chains are the chain 2 that we did during the start of the row. And that is where you will be making your slip stitch. Now you are done with the second row. To start off the next row, chain 2 again. But since we need to place our double crochets on these spaces right here, we need to add another chain to skip the first double crochet stitch. In total, we need to chain 3 to start this row. and then skip the first stitch, which is the double crochet, and then place your first double crochet on that chain 1 space. So again, chain 1, and then place your next double crochet on the chain 1 space once again. So just continue repeating this stitch pattern until you reach the end of this row. Now once you have reached your last chain 1 space, place your last double crochet here and then slip stitch once again to the starting chains that we did earlier in this row. And that will be the end of row 3. So just continue repeating the steps 5 and 6 until you reach your desired bag length. So for this one, I just did 4 rows of alternating steps 5 and 6, and I reached about a length of 5 inches. But we are not yet done. We need to make our last row, which would look like the first row that we did at the start. So to do that, we need to chain 2 again, and then place a double crochet on every stitch on both double crochet stitches and on the chain 1 spaces. Just continue doing that until you reach the end of the row. Now once you've reached the last stitch, place a slip stitch on the chain 2 space. By the way, take note that we will not be placing a double crochet on this stitch right here because this was the slip stitch that we did during the previous row. So after doing that, we're already done with the main body of the bag, but do not cut your yarn yet. You just need to close one opening of this bag, but I prefer doing that the last. So let's first start making the straps. Starting from where we left off, chain 3. After that, turn and place a triple crochet on the next stitch. Once you're done with that, it should end up looking like big chains or circles. After placing the triple crochet, chain 1 and then turn your work again. Now we will be placing a single crochet on the triple crochet stitch. So the stitch that we will be using for the straps of this bag is called an eye stitch. So basically we just need to repeat these 2 steps. Chain 3, turn, place a triple crochet on the single crochet stitch,
single crochet on the triple crochet stitch. Just continue doing this until you reach your desired strap length. However, do make sure that you end with a single crochet stitch. Now, to connect your strap to the other side, chain 2 and slip stitch on the other side of the bag. After that, turn and slip stitch once again on the next stitch. And then chain 2. And then slip stitch on the last single crochet stitch that we did for the strap. By the way, when connecting the strap to the other side of the bag, make sure that your straps are not twisted. And make a last slip stitch to secure. And finally, we are done with the strap. Now let's move on to closing the bottom part of the bag. First is make sure that the upper and bottom part of your bag are aligned. Once you're good with that, start on the right end and then place your yarn since we will be working from right to left. And we can now start placing a single crochet on every stitch to close this opening. Once you've reached the end, slip stitch to secure and then fasten off. Now we are almost done. So let's proceed to the last part, which is also optional. We will be adding some ribbon ties. First step is to find the center of your bag. You can also place stitch markers to mark the center. From the center, mark an equal distance to the left and to the right sides. And that will be the area where you'll be chaining the ribbon ties. Starting on one side, place your hook and insert your yarn. From there, you can start chaining any number of chains depending on how long you wanted it to be. Once you've reached your desired length, cut your yarn and fasten off. Now repeat that for the other side. Do make sure that you will have an equal number of chains for both sides. Once you're done with that, insert these chains on the spaces in between the double crochets on the front panel of the bag. And for a cleaner look, don't forget to hide your yarn ends and secure it. As for me, I used glue gun, but you can use whatever tool you're comfortable with. And congratulations, we are finally done. Don't forget to tag or mention me on Instagram if ever you post your work because I would really love to see it. Feel free to be creative and customize it according to your liking. Thank you so much for watching this video and stay tuned for more crochet contents. I'm hoping to see you on my next one.